Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Transparency Exchange API Project Koala Working Group. We have a lot of these things to discuss today, primarily the Koala Con. I set up 2 meetings last week on our previous meeting 2 weeks ago. One of the meetings I had Mark in for a bit of the time. The other one I canceled, the one about Koala Con. So we need to run that today and do some planning. I don't see that we have any newcomers. I've seen all of you. Anyone who wants to ask something or introduce himself? Nope. Then let's get going. We have news from ECMA. We have a new task group. Steve.
Yes, so TC54 voted unanimously in favor of establishing TG3, which will be charted to standardize the common life cycle enumeration specification. So we have added that to the TC54 website. So you'll see, if you go to tc54.org, you'll see all the standards that that group is working on are related to software and system transparency. And CLE has been added to that. But yeah, this is great. We have decided as a group that we would repurpose the existing community meetings into TG3 meetings. So it's yeah. So instead of having double the meetings, we're just going to repurpose the one. Is kind of the way that we're going to operate. But if you want to be involved in this, highly encourage everyone to participate. We do encourage organizations to be ECMA members. However, if you are an expert in this area or simply want to observe the meetings, please reach out to me and we can make that happen.
Yep. And the convener here is Benny something.
No, for the time being, it is myself, and we've got two conveners, co-conveners, myself, and I'm at a loss for a name right now. But the gentleman also participates in TC39, which is JavaScript task group 3.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 conveners, but this is also an OWASP project and not specifically a CycloneDX project.
That is correct. It is a proper OWASP project, and we're going to try to get some other OWASP people involved as well.
Yeah. And together with Benny, who leads that, I've written an article that hopefully will be published on the OWASP.org website. We're describing how this fits into SBOMs and how it fits into T. So we're trying to connect everything together in a good way.
Yep.
We're still waiting for comments from some mysterious Mr. Springett or something on this document.
I will review later today. Scouts on.
Oh, thank you. We found him. Okay. Any more news from ECMA?
Other than we need to establish our TG1 calls. Yep. I did the chair's update yesterday to the executive committee, and they had some great questions, but it was the presentation was about 30 minutes or so. I talked about TC54. I talked about what each of the task groups are currently working on. I talked about the establishment of TG3, and as well as all of our kind of future plans for growth and that sort of thing. So we do need to establish those TG1 calls and get those on the calendar and start recording those.
Yeah. And for those of you that are members in ECMA, we want to find you and get you involved. And we have a document here in Google where I documented some of the rules for this. and I think I was looking for another document where I had some name. We have Keith from, I believe, Lockheed is going to join, but
Okay.
we need more members. And if you want to participate and it's not an ECMA member, we need to make a formal process. There's a form I need to help you find and fill in, and we need to make a decision in TC in 54 to invite you as an invited experts. That's my role right now, since Edwina is not a member.
So I'm not a member.
But that's
so
a funny thing.
do I need to fill out a form?
I
If
believe
you want to
Samina will be,
that,
yes.
yeah, absolutely.
I believe Samina is going to be reaching out to you, Mark, because to my understanding, your employer is participating in multiple TCs within ECMA.
Are they?
Yeah.
God, I hate our corporate bloody documentation. I spent hours bloody searching, and the only thing I could find was that we'd left ECMA.
You have, but you're actually still participating in multiple TCs as a like an observer or whatever. So I'm not sure, but she's going to be reaching out to you, FYI.
Wow.
Okay, so Samina is already on it.
Cool.
Is that what I hear, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Good. And if any one of you others, Christopher, Victor, wants to join this process, just let us know and we'll help you.
But I'd be keen to learn more about what that entails. But maybe we can take that offline to not waste everybody's time.
Yeah, absolutely. KoalaCon, I have a new proposed date. Since I'm ready with my conference and I've done the fall cold, I'm ready. I think December 3rd may be earliest, because we really need to reach out and send a painful amount of reminders in all channels on this. But would that work in the calendars of those here present?
Yes.
No, not for me. That falls right on top of the Health ISAC Fall Summit, where I have to be there for most of that week. So no,
Okay.
I will not be there.
So the week before or after, is that better?
Question.
We have Thanksgiving the week before, so that's probably not good from a US point of view.
Let's give it Thanksgiving is on the tail of the week prior, though. So if you do an
Yeah.
earlier part of the week prior, perhaps that might work.
Yeah,
I
the 25th, 26th, 27th will all be viable.
Yeah, so Monday, November 25.
Works for me.
Oddly,
Am I
I
right
have
in
absolutely
understanding
nothing that day.
Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday, and Friday is when you go and have a fight with people for TV screens in Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
But earlier in the week is fine.
Yeah, on Wednesday, I think a lot of people are traveling
Yes, yeah.
back home. Should we set November 25?
Works for me.
Works for me.
And what happened now? And the time, does that work? 4 o'clock in the afternoon this time?
It
Should
does
we-
clash with the Monday meeting for CISA. Hold on, no. Yeah, it does clash with the Monday morning CISA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always clashes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think Skit has a weekly, but I don't bi-weekly, but I don't think it's that Monday. Tuesday, I have another seminar in Stockholm, so I can't. Wednesday is bad, so then if we're not on Monday, I'm voting for Monday, November
Yeah,
24th.
I'm fine with it. I'm just finding it that there is an event in Espan well on that does overlap.
Yeah, you might want to hold it an hour later, maybe.
Okay.
That way it doesn't conflict, right?
Yeah, the CISA one
I'll-
is 4 to 5 p.m. London time. So
Yeah. So I'll 4 to 5 London time. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I may be hungry
8
and hungry, but
yeah,
you
8
just
to
have
9
to live with
PST.
that. Yep. We just have to get Mr. Friedman to the right meeting.
Hold on. So 1700 CET is well, that's
That's
an
6
hour.
o'clock London. Mm.
I just thought in between now and then there's going to be a time change, but it's still going to be an hour's difference between the two, isn't it?
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
know
US
if
changes
the-
this week, right?
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
UK and Europe will probably change like a little bit later in the month.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
synced up.
They're at the end of October somewhere. If the UK is still on European time zones, I don't know. You may have decided your own stuff here.
Well, when we fall back, we'll move to UTC.
Yeah. I don't have any notes of that in my calendar, which is probably bad, but
The point is, didn't somebody say 2 minutes ago that there's a meeting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon UK time?
Yeah, I just yeah, I did. So the
So
system
that
one is 4 p.m. Yeah. So
Exactly. So
but
that
and
one-
we
that's
just moved to that time.
but that's pinned for 8 a.m. Pacific. So yeah. So that would move with the US time zones. But I'm looking at that on the 25th.
And
So it should be 4 p.m.
November 3rd, we stop daylight savings time here, so that would actually be what, 9 a.m. I think, Pacific. So
Yeah.
but it's good for me no matter what it is that day.
Okay, we can hash out the details and adjust the time accordingly. I have another document which I linked to in the meeting notes, where I need to change the date, but we have reasons to have a meeting. We have the format, a Zoom meeting, 1.5 hour plus Q&A, some content ideas, suggested talks. We need to go through this and see, but I would like an introduction to, I mean, CycloneDX and the ECMA standardization, and so then I can introduce T on a very high level, but we need some implementers as well. I'm talking with Nicholas from the Pensa track. Of course, he doesn't know the date, but he is very keen on being part of this. Maybe you, Victor, could come in here.
Yeah, I'd be interested in participating in this. Where we are at that point, it's just a month or so away, so probably not a ton of traffic to action by then. But I'm happy to at least share a few words of my I stand in terms of this, and yeah, happy to chime in for sure.
In relationship to the API, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we need to work on this the coming week here.
Yeah.
I've written an invitation that has been up for a while now, but I briefly, I mean, we need to get it out, so I'll see, adjust the dates here, and the agenda doesn't have to be exact with speakers, but some ideas on what we're gonna cover, like this, when we send out the first invitation, then we can update. How do we get an OWASP Zoom booking?
So do we want, I I'm
or-
assuming we want the normal, like the normal, like Zoom meeting type thing.
Yeah, either we can use my account or ServiceNow.
No, I have access to the OWASP one.
Okay.
I just
So we
didn't
need
know
to-
if we wanted like a webinar that supports like 1,000 people, or if we wanted like a normal type Zoom. I think it supports up to like 100 people or something.
Yeah, I think if we get 40 people in, it's a success story, and likely 200 will see it on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's my expectation. Next time we're gonna have thousands and thousands.
Yeah, just for context, I think the best attended dependency track community meeting was 40 people.
We had a webinar here in Sweden on post-quantum crypto, a community webinar, where we had 95, which is really, really good.
It is, but it's still less than the 100 that Steve was saying.
Yeah.
Is
No,
Okay.
it's the long tail that matters, that we publish this and make it available on all channels.
But
Well, let's
is
get this on the
95 good
calendar.
For a topic like, you know, the end of privacy and security on the internet. I mean, I would think there would be a little bit more attendance than 95. Okay, that's a big topic.
Yeah, but this was Sweden only and in our communities. So,
Okay.
but a lot of cybersecurity people listened. Okay, should we set up a registration page on Eventbrite and send out Zoom links to them, or should we keep an open Zoom link?
Is Eventbrite free? I honestly don't know.
Yeah, for free meetings when you don't charge.
Okay.
Free.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. We can do that.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like a good idea.
I have accounts there, so I can set it up.
Okay. Let's just keep in mind that, you know, daylight savings time is going to happen in the US. I don't know if it happens at the exact same time in Europe. I can't
No, it
remember.
doesn't. No,
Okay.
they're out of sync.
Yeah.
No,
So-
there's usually a week in between or something. But the good thing with Eventbrite and Zoom is that they take care of it as long as you actually register a time zone
Yeah.
Right.
event.
Yeah, let's just make sure that what we put on the OWASP community calendar and what is on Eventbrite are the same, and that
Yep.
they do not conflict with the weekly SBOM meeting.
Yep.
Now, Steve, is there anything else that OWASP can do in terms of publicizing this?
Yeah, absolutely. We have an entire events committee and in staff.
Right.
They just need to know, like, a good month in advance, what it is that we're doing.
A
So
month
they
in
can-
advance. So we're actually running out of time to let them know, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, events are usually, you know, planned a few months in advance typically. So I mean, this is cutting it close, but yeah, I mean, if we have some messaging, the OWASP, you know, social accounts can obviously amplify that. We can put it on the website, you know, whatever we want to do.
Yeah, I'll work on the Eventbrite registration and a page. And
Okay.
please, all of you, follow this link to QualaCon or Ask Me and review the language here.
Once this is live, I'm happy to share it with the Monday meetings, unless if somebody's not attending, I'm happy to share it with that, just to get out and federate that. And there's also a new Google group for that session as well.
Great.
So that can drive some traffic.
Yeah, and we need to remember, I mean, the reason we're doing this is to gather, and we need to reach out to the implementations out there, and both the commercial ones and the open source ones. So wherever they meet and hang around, we need to get the information out.
Yes. So, on the OWASP side, Steve, is there a named individual that Ole can ping because you said events committee, but that's committee is not an individual person that can be just messaged.
We have in CycloneDX, we have an outreach channel, which I'm a member of. But I haven't seen a Slack channel for events, but maybe I haven't looked. There must be.
Well,
Right.
what? There's that, what was it? There's that channel where you post stuff and they kind of promote it. What's it?
We have a leaders channel, which I've been posting now and then, and the general channel. Yeah, but we need to amplify this on LinkedIn and OWASP web and calendars and so on.
The events committee charter is being updated. So what I posted in the link is currently the draft of the updated draft charter, but you will see the names of the individuals that are on the committee: chair, vice chair, secretary, etc. You'll see what it is that they're responsible for. They might be able to help. We also have OWASP staff that can help one person.
Lauren, it says here. Lauren,
right? Yep. Yeah. So she's responsible for organizing most OWASP events, including all the global ones, which is a tremendous amount of work. But
that's somewhat bigger still. But KoalaCon will soon be much bigger. But
yeah. So, we can reach out to these folks. We can, I believe there is a Slack channel for the events committee on the OWASP Slack workspace as well.
Yeah.
And, we can also make use of Star Brown as well. If we get her in the loop, I believe she maintains a lot of the social presence, I believe. So in terms of amplification, getting her kind of in the loop would be important.
Yeah, and if we act quickly with the registration page and stuff, we can probably add a link to this event in the publication of that common life cycle enumeration article.
Yeah,
we can connect the dots. Great.
Is there any like OpenSSF Slack channel where it would be useful to have some kind of notification?
So the general and possibly the SBOM everywhere, if that's what it's still called, I'm not sure.
It's still called. I just noticed it's only got about 350 people in it though.
Yeah, it's kind of small. Yeah, I mean it doesn't hurt to post there. I mean, those folks are primarily interested in just the open source perspective, not the wider distribution perspective, but it would still be beneficial to post there, I think.
And what about the SPDX people? I mean, obviously a bunch of them sort of hang out in OpenSSF, but is there just something additional just to say, hey, come on guys, come along?
I think Kate is on the OSSF Slack workspace. I don't know where the SPDX folks hang out.
Yeah.
If
the
anywhere.
mailing list. And
just
I
the
have
mailing
a meeting.
list?
Yeah, maybe Slack as well. But I have a meeting with Kate and Gary fairly soon, so I'll take it with them.
Well, I mean, sending the invite to their mailing list might also be beneficial.
Yep.
Because especially the general one, not the tech one, the general one might be a little beneficial because then you might get non-technical people within the SPDX community, such as the legal teams and that sort of thing, which would be interesting.
Yeah. We had an interesting discussion this morning talking about that. And there was an open chain SBOM meeting, a very boring talk, but there was a discussion about patents with a guy from Ericsson here. And I told him that we're working in CycloneDX. We started a working group and he should join if he's interested. And he very quickly said, I don't want any patents in any SBOM I receive. Never, ever. He's a lawyer. So I said, okay, and much better reason to join now.
Yep.
So we'll.
I mean, I've got legal teams that say they want them. You know, it's.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, later on, we clarify that, well, for internal use, absolutely. There needs to be a syntax and an enumeration of it, but for external use, that could be, of course, discussed. Okay, folks, moving on. Mark and I had a meeting last week, and after that, I've been talking with Anthony and Piotr about some use cases. In last meeting, we started discussing the publication models, and I wanted to really go deeper down into that. So bear with me. The way we see a T platform is that we have some sort of T service, let's call it the teapot. And we have a storage of documents which can be integrated, but can also be separated from the T service. We have a consumer API, which we focused a lot on, that is finding and retrieving documents I need for the version of a component I have. And we use DNS in the discovery phase. We also have discussions about how to interface with SCIT. But the publishing side, we haven't done much with. Christopher or Chris from Down Under, he calls himself Stoff on the Slack channel. He has produced a very good overview of our workflow that we have in our repository. His ideas. During the discussions, we realized that there's probably a couple of different use cases. We have an internal T service that probably wants it all, extremely enriched SBOMs, maybe with patents and other stuff, right? But then we have the customer-facing official T service, which could be something different. There's also a few discussions about third-party T services, like if a commercial provider or if a packaging project provides a T service for all their packages. We discussed a workflow where a build system automatically sends up a lot of stuff to the internal teapot, but maybe there's a manual or semi-manual release process, a more formal one, to move selected information out to the official public T service. And I think we need to be aware of that as we move on, that there is a huge difference. We have, I mean, there's a lot of generation that happens in various systems of documents. We have the VEX, we have the SBOMs, we have CSAF, we have other artifacts, attestations. And these can be published in various ways. We can have a CLI client, a web GUI, some sort of SBOM platform, as they call them now, or something else we haven't documented, and I'm keen to find out what it can be. And different artifacts may take different routes in publication, I think.
We should probably stay away from CSAF though, because it does have its own distribution requirements. So theoretically, we can technically host, we can technically publish a CSAF document, but we would be violating the spec if we did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Removing that. So the file transfer here may not be part, and that was important feedback from Piotr and the Apache project, that they already publish SBOMs in the workflow they have. But they need T for people to discover the SBOMs. Mark?
Yo, sorry, I'm here. No, I was actually still thinking about something that was on a slide, a couple of slides back. So can you repeat the question?
No, I heard you saying something suddenly, so I stopped.
No.
I have
Okay.
a question on that, Ola, though. So for that, I presume those are all public SBOMs then, in that scenario.
I mean, open source project. Why do they
Yeah,
hide?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying that that's otherwise we're going into double authentication, I guess, because then you have to authenticate into a separate system, and that opens a Pandora's box as well.
Yep. Absolutely. And we came out on a sidetrack on packaging. This is more, I would say, a life cycle enumeration slide or something else. But we discovered that maybe we want to have a backwards pointer from, for instance, a Red Hat package of something that is based on the original project here. So maybe TI can be used as a backlink to the original project. We don't know, but we ended up with that. But the idea here is that all of these, I mean, if you have the original project at 2.0, which is security only, but Red Hat has full support of it, and Red Hat package is a binary, then these are two different products with different package URLs and different TIs. And I think it's important that we clarify that as we move on. But we need to figure out the package ecosystems and try to reach out and have an open discussion with them to see if there are other models that can't be reached by a simple URL, that we have to actually point to a package URL to find SBOM in T or something else. I think we need to figure this out. But right now we're talking with Apache Security. We'll see. And I think we have contacts here and there, but
I don't necessarily know. So it's one thing to here's the problem I think we're going to have with open source ecosystems is that they're very opinionated for what is best for their particular ecosystem. And two, that there you have just a tremendous amount of existing tools that are never going to change. I don't necessarily know if we should be discussing like, hey, Maven, or Python, let's get your ecosystems to support this API. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be successful, right? Maven and Python's tools are not going to change to adapt to us. They're going to do what's best for their community.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is to see if, like Apache, that the way they publish now, which obviously won't change because that was a very clear message too from some of the Apache projects that we had in a meeting. But if the current way we define an artifact is by a URL. If we can still have a simple URL and point it to wherever it is, then it's simple.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that should be fine.
What I'm looking for.
Yeah. All right.
But my understanding is both the NPM and the Python world are undergoing pretty radical changes with regards to this right now. And
I think we got funding from OpenSSF Alpha Omega to get their shit done.
Right, but that probably means that it's too early to see where that leads yet, because SBOMs in some shape or form will probably be part of that.
But maybe it's a good time to be able to point them in one direction.
I think Steve is correct. I don't think we can. I think they have a lot of opinions about how to do that.
Yeah, Apache reached out to us, and they're heavy users of Maven. So those two, I think, is rather simple. Then we'll see if others show up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
it-
don't
the
know how that
important-
Maven world looks like at all, to be honest.
But I think the important part right now is try to figure out the process here, and from those pictures, try to start modeling the API in a good way so it actually fits. But what
Yeah.
I've learned from these discussions is that assuming that file transfer will always happen, uploading of an artifact will always happen using the T API, that's a bad assumption.
I think there are alternative scenarios anyways, where a lot of SBOM repositories will just be binary blob stores anyways, where people just got linked to, even for internal use case.
Yep.
Having a
take
URL.
I haven't spoken with them, but take like GUAC that have all the artifacts, right? I mean, they already have them, so they can just add an authentication layer and a new API on top of that.
Yeah.
So all of these workflows are very centric on publishing and not.
Yeah, I mean, the whole
on-
presentation is publishing.
Yeah, I mean, but again, transparency exchange, the target market is the end user here who's going to be looking
Yes,
at
but
something.
Chris, we spent almost all our time on the consumer side. We have written documents, we have an open API proposal. So it was time to start looking at the other side as well.
Okay,
So
Yeah, we should probably have at some point some kind of interop on the consumption side, interop testing, and interop testing on the publishing side as well, independently.
yep. I do think so. Okay, it seems like those overviews aren't totally bad. Me adding CSAF for marketing reasons was typically bad, but that's gone. So I think we can start writing down some documents based on that input and start modeling something.
I believe the CSAF folks are actually working on a revision to their spec. I would love for them to strip out the distribution requirements and make that a separate independent spec. That way, CSAF is not confined to, how they envision that one file to be distributed. If they could do that, then, we could theoretically host the CSAF files. That's not an issue, and we wouldn't violate the spec in doing so.
But where is CSAF handled?
Oasis.
Oasis, okay.
But I mean, the shortcut to that would probably be PLR, Red Hat.
Ah, okay. Yeah, they're using a lot of that. Okay. What's the time? Oh, we have 15 minutes. We have a lot of open issues in the tracker, and I encourage you to add some thoughts and ideas and responses. We have one, since Victor is here, and Victor raised it. Where is it? Here. I don't know if it was in Slack or in a meeting. You asked if CNAME can be
Yes,
used
I think it was in a
now.
meeting. Yeah.
And since I'm constantly working in another project with DNS gurus, part of the DNS directorate in the IETF and blah blah blah, I asked them just to be sure, and they say that, well, that's possibly the most simple solution for a customer that wants to use a third party to actually use the CNAME and point to that third party, and the third party, which is the target of the CNAME, have all the DNS URI records and all of that.
Yeah.
What we need to specify then is the TLS validation scheme if that happens. Because if my API is looking for products chrisgates.com, or well-known example domain, and the CNAME points to Edvina, should the certificate actually include chrisgates.com, or should it only have Edvina? And I think that there's an RFC on that from the Utah working group. I think the conclusion is that the final target from the DNS resolution should be in the TLS certificate.
So if we borrow a page from the web hosting world, then by having a pointer to a secondary CNAME or a record, that means that the receiving party, using things like let's encrypt, is able to obtain a TLS certificate for the other DNS record as well. So I think
we could write that for security reasons, that exactly like the rest of the web, that you need a subject alt name for that.
Yeah.
But it's a problem that has been solved. I just need to find the proper documentation. But I think we're benefiting from adding this to the discovery spec.
Yeah, I mean, the way I would look at it is probably to use the well-known spec that Let's Encrypt use for DNS discovery. Well, not for DNS discovery, for HTTP discovery, which is over HTTP, I believe, because you can't do HTTPS at that point.
I mean, they use ACME to actually issue the certificate, right? And you can have multiple domain names, and then they use DNS as a proof of the whole thing.
Well, there are two ways to do it. There are multiple ways to do it. You can do it over DNS, but you can also do it over HTTP. That's how Let's Encrypt does it. The default is actually over HTTP, but you can do DNS as well.
You use DNS to find a web server and find a cookie on the
yeah. Correct.
So,
correct. Yeah.
I've been writing ACME implementations. So.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just a proof of ownership. That's very simple.
Yes.
But we just need to figure this out and make it. I don't think enforcing. I think it would be better than if we had a redirect, because that would not enforce the service provider to get a new certificate every time they get a new customer. That's what I would like to avoid if I'm running a huge teapot, right?
Yeah.
I can't operationally just add new subject alt names every time I get a new customer. So
a lot of hosting providers do that automatically, actually, these days. So it is possible to do it. Obviously more complicated, but it is possible.
Yeah, but they either have SNI, so they have separate certificates for each customer, and that's doable.
Yeah, that's probably SNI, you're right. Because I mean, I'm just thinking of like Shopify, for instance. That's what they do, or something like that, right?
Yeah. But they properly use SNI. So even if
Probably.
the shared IP address is actually different web servers.
Yeah. It's been a while since I touched that stuff, but yeah, you're probably right.
So we need to document hosted solution fully. Oh, Chris disappeared just because I said use this domain as an example. That's bad. Or he ran out of coffee from his.
He posted in the chat that he has to run.
Okay. I didn't see. Okay. So I think we're ready to write something up here and add to the discovery document.
Yeah.
Seems like we are in agreement, all of us, that this is actually a good thing.
I mean, I think this is the easiest way for adoption. right? Because it's a tried and true workflow that people are used to.
It can also be used actually. Can be also be used internally.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I suppose since it is programmatic, I guess there's less of importance or less weight on actually exposing the final DNS name, because it's less important than, say, a web page where you actually want to maintain the original DNS name. Whereas if you just 301 that, it would be fine, but then you have the problem with TLS on the original one. Yeah.
I don't think it's a big problem. We just need to write this up and refer to the proper RFCs.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ole, whilst it's fresh in mind, I had a chat with a friend of mine who's a GS1 expert, and I mentioned that to you on Slack a bit, who's happy to join one of our bi-weekly meetings to shed some lights on how this would fit with DSI.
I was so happy to see Chris in this meeting, but he disappeared because I have a ticket for him here as well. Maybe we should try to set up an evening meeting. Which time zone were you friend in?
He's in Switzerland, so he's on CET.
Okay, that's good for me. Because we have a ticket, medical device IDs, but that's not the GS1. No, I'm
no, it's separate
confusing it.
format. Yeah, it's a separate standard. I think it falls under GS1 maybe even, but it's a different type of GS1 reference.
I think I actually documented it here. GS1 is a superset of EIN and all those, right?
Anything that is a PCG, a product, CPG, I think they call them, consumer product good, is essentially falls on GS1, essentially barcodes of all sorts.
Yeah, I know I did some work on that, but obviously not here. Or maybe that's
Cyclone
a branch.
supports the GS1 standards by way of the what was it? The device taxonomy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is this in 1.6?
It can be used in 1.3 and higher, I believe. 1.4 and higher. Let's see. Where is it at? Here's the link right here. I'll post it in the chat.
Okay. I'll go find my work on that, and we'll chat about it and set up a meeting then, Victor.
Yeah. Probably he has previous schedule.
I know I started digging through this and found some examples. So I probably have it in a working branch. I just need to set up as a pull request because it's not
here. This
here.
GTID. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. But he got really excited about mapping physical products to SBOMs, actually.
Yeah, I know a lot of device makers that use CycloneDX actually while they don't include the hardware components, they might include the thing itself, and or if they're using H-bombs, for example, which several organizations do, they'll use the various GS1 standards in their Cyclone bomb. The interesting
Who's the least? Yeah, sorry.
the interesting thing about the property taxonomy is that, kind of like DNS, any organization can kind of register their own namespace, and it is in wide use. So much so that even SPDX version 3 supports the taxonomy.
Interesting. Who are leading people around hardware H-bombs and actually using S-bomb like standards for this, or O-bomb, I guess? So I'm yet to see some actual real use case of this.
Oh yeah, it's being used. I'm trying to get my cobwebs out. Ping me on Slack. I'll put you in contact.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Isn't that Matt's area?
Matt Rutowski?
Yeah.
Rutowski's over in he's been doing a lot of work with Watson AI right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I was thinking back of his sort of interest in stuff like M-bomb. I think so.
Yep.
Yeah. More than during the week, I've gotten a couple of pull requests that were small and beautiful. Fixed a typo, added some tests, and changed some bad Swinglish from a new guy. He's not here, Thomas something. But I'm very happy for that. So more of that, pull requests. Okay, I think I skipped this meeting because we've been going through it in other meetings, but we can quickly go through it. CISA has a sharing of SBOM work group that Dimitri talked about. We haven't seen him since, maybe disappeared into that group. I'll try to reach out and see if we need some open issues here.
I'm yet to see the output
I have
from that group.
ongoing discussion with the skip working group. Sorry?
Oh, I said I'm yet to see the
Again?
output of that group. I'm also keen to learn more about.
Yeah.
I'm just keen to see the output of that group as well.
Absolutely. SPDX, I think they're Gary and Karen have been traveling like, I don't know, but I think traveling is done, so we're going to see meeting. I sent an email earlier to the staff. We already discussed that. The Global AppSec in Barcelona will be the final week of May, if I understand it right. Haven't seen any dates, but I'm hoping we could have a Koala on-site meeting then and maybe get some talks in the agenda.
Yeah, that would be something to work with Lauren about for the events.
Yeah. The FOSDEM Open Source Week on the Friday before FOSDEM, Philip Omerdam will have a seminar. So we're discussing running a hackathon either on Thursday or in London after. There's a conference in London, the State of Open. So maybe we'll attend something there. And Victor has promised a luxury office with all the benefits, or standing orchestra and dancing girls.
Only the best for you, Ole. Only the best.
Yeah. As long as there's a teapot, I'm pretty happy. So that's it for this week, I think. Thank you all.
Yay.
Let's
Thank you all.
start with turning off the recording, and then we'll see what we say afterwards.
All right.
Good stuff.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye then.